What's up, guys? Welcome to my 2023 NFL mock draft. V1, let's get straight into it. Houston Texans sitting at number one. It's looking like they're going to have the number one pick. And if that still holds true, it's going to be Bryce Young. I think he's just the best quarterback in the draft, hands down. I think CJ Stroud is definitely a better physical, but Bryce Young is just a better passer of the football. He's playing on a worse team with Alabama, a much worse offensive line, way worse receivers, and he's still putting up crazy numbers. Bryce Young, number one. Number two, Carolina, they're taking a quarterback if they're in the top two, and it's going to be CJ Stroud. Those two guys are going 1-2, whatever order you want is fine by me. CJ Stroud's still a top five player. Chicago Bears at number three, and I think the Bears, they have a lot of needs. Offensive line, wide receiver are the most notable. But I think if you're at number three, if you can't find a trade down, which, I'd be at least shopping some offers here. You go BPA, and for me, Will Anderson is the best player in the draft, so I'm taking Will Anderson here. He's the kind of guy who's going to change your defense. He's going to single-handedly change your defense. Now we got the Raiders at four, and I think this is a no-brainer. You've got two big-name edge rushers. Only one's really playing like an elite edge rusher with Max Crosby. But I'm taking Jalen Carter. Imagine putting him in the interior of that D-line. That's a scary D-line. All right. Seattle at five. You don't go quarterback. Geno's been playing great. I think you go BPA, specifically best defensive player available. I don't think offense is really in the question with these two first-round picks, honestly, unless there's an absolute steal. But I'm going Myles Murphy. He's a top five player in this class, no doubt in my mind. He's separated himself, I think, from the rest of the edge rushers, he and Will Anderson. Detroit at six, this is a tough spot, because you could think about Will Levis, but I'm not. Will Levis he's not even top 20 on my board. He's got the physicals, and that is it. That is it, man. I like going corner here, Keely Ringo, Joey Porter, D-line edge. You could go with an edge rusher. I think the next guy up for me is probably Tyree Wilson. But I do think I'm going to go corner, and I'm going to go with a guy he's got the upside, and that's Keely Ringo. Dude, he's got the physical traits. He's got that kind of big-time upside. Put him alongside Jeff Okudah, that could be scary. Scary corner duo. All right, Houston Texans at seven. You took Bryce Young. I think you're in a tough spot now. Do you go with Quentin Johnson, or do you go with a defensive player? And I think I'm going to go defense here, and I'm going to go Tyree Wilson. This guy is going to be shooting up draft boards. He is so freaking good. So good. He's got crazy production this year. He's a very good prospect. He's going to be a top 10 player in this draft. I really like Tyree Wilson. I think he's that next best player in the edge class after the top two. Pittsburgh at eight, and if you were picking higher, I'd go edge, I'd go D-line, but you're not. So I think offensive line is the play here. And Peter Skoronski, there's some concerns with length. There's some concerns of, can he play tackle at the next level? Whereas Paris Johnson and Olu Fashanu, the youngest, he's got the most upside. But do you want that, or do you want a guy who can come in and protect Kenny Pickett right away? And I think I want a guy who can come in and protect right away. I'm taking Paris Johnson here. All right, number 9, Jacksonville. You got to think about offensive tackle here. I do think that's a thought. But even with the addition of Calvin Ridley, I still like going receiver here. Trevor Lawrence, he likes those big wide receivers. Give me Quentin Johnston, dude. He is insane. He's straight up insane. Watch any TCU game. Now, maybe not any. He can disappear at times, but he's good. Philly picking at 10, and I think I'm going to go corner here. This corner class is really good, and Joey Porter Jr. is still on the board. He is a top 10 player in this class easily, and a great fit in Philly. Arizona, this could be another corner, honestly. And Christian Gonzalez is definitely good enough to warrant the 11th overall pick. I think I'm going to pull the trigger. Christian Gonzalez, he deserves some respect. He is insanely good. Green Bay, oh God, I'm a Packers fan. and we probably won't do this, but if he's on the board, I hope we do this. Jordan Addison. We'll never take a wide receiver in the first round, but I swear if Jordan Addison or Quentin Johnston are on the board and we pass, I'm going to be pissed. 13 Detroit. Will Levis is a thought here, but if I'm Detroit, I wouldn't do it personally. I would go somewhere on the defensive line. Brian Brzez's got crazy upside, honestly. It's not terrible value here either. You know what? Give me Brian Brzez. I've got him more as a top 20 player, top 15. He shows flashes. He's got the upside. I like it. Indy at 14. Again, you could think about Will Levis, but I think there's some really good linemen on the board. I'm gonna go with Peter Skronsky. Am I? Am I actually? No, I'm not. Give me Olu Fashanu. Give me the upside, the younger guy. There's still too many concerns with Skronsky. Good players fall in the draft. He's very good, but there's definitely some concerns that teams are going to be looking at. Atlanta, I do think edge is probably the play here. I think there's good value. I'm thinking between Felix Anudike-Uzomah and Jared Verse here, and I'm going to go with Felix. He is just a disruptor. He really is. He is crazy good, and I really like the value here at 15. Chargers at 16, I think there's no doubt in my mind that if one of the top two receivers are on the board, you're going there, but they're not. However, there is a guy in Peter Skronsky who's still on the board, and if you think he can be a franchise tackle for you, I think it's a no-brainer here. Give me Peter Skronsky. All right, Washington. All right, Will Levis is on the board. If I'm the Commanders, would I shoot on Will Levis here? Honestly, maybe. The teams looked really solid this year. Cam Smith is also on the board, which I think is crazy good value here. This is tough. Give me Will Levis. Give me Will Levis here. I think you're shooting. He's got the physicals. Just hoping he pans out. New York. This is another kind of tougher pick. Trenton Simpson is still on the board. Ooh, that's kind of a thought, but also Broderick Jones is on the board. You've got Brian Branch still on the board, which would be really fun on this defense. I think we're going to go with the trenches. There's been injuries and just not good. Give me Broderick Jones. This guy who's had maybe not the greatest production, but he's got the trait. He's got the size. I like Broderick Jones. All right, Tampa Bay. If Will Levis was on the board, I think that'd be the pick. Bijan is on the board. That's interesting. Bijan's going to go in the first round. Some team's going to take him. Who, though? I don't know. Would the Bucks do it? Maybe. But with a guy like Cam Smith on the board, and the way you need young corners, give me Cam Smith. Dude is clear-cut CB4 in this class, so give me Cam Smith. Denver, what kind of offensive line do we still have on the board? Anton Harrison is probably the next guy up. DeJuan Jones is probably the next guy up, honestly. He's really been rising up my board. Maybe the value at edge is really good right now. So I'm going to go there. Give me Jared Verse. Dude's been struggling with an injury, but man, he is great when he is fully healthy. Seattle? Oh, this is a no-brainer. Oh, this is definitely a no-brainer. Give me Trenton Simpson. Pairing up Trenton Simpson and Myles Murphy. Oh, that's a sick draft. New England Patriots. Trenton Simpson would be the pick if he was here. He's not. Ooh. Give me Kayshon Boutte. This is a guy who, if this was the beginning of the year, I'm not taking him in the first round, but he's really picked it up as the years progressed, and I think he's past Jackson Smith-Njigba for me, although it's very close between those two. Cincinnati. You know what? Corner should be the pick here. However, maybe you're not in love with any of these guys. Clark Phillips, maybe not have that outside ability. Michael Mayer's on the board. Now, I'm not the biggest Michael Mayer guy. I'll be honest. I think tight end's not a premium position. If you can't get a Kyle Pitts-esque player, I'm not taking a tight end in the top 10, top 15. But at 23, He's a lot more appealing. Give me Michael Mayer. All right, Buffalo Bills. This is easy. Bijan. Bijan's on the board still. Give me Bijan. Come on. Baltimore. Jackson Smith and Jigba is still on the board, which is definitely a fun little pairing here with Rashad Bateman. But there's definitely some other options. Clark Phillips is on the board. Jalen Jones is on the board. This is interesting. There's some good value at edge still. Very good value. Nolan Smith, BJ Ojolari. I do think I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba. Gotta have good receivers. And there's been some injuries. Give me Jackson Smith and Jigba. All right, Tennessee. You know what? This could be a really fun spot for DeJuan Jones, the right tackle from Ohio State. And I think I'm going to do it. You know, your identity is running the ball. You got to have an offensive line for that. Give me DeJuan Jones here. All right, Dallas Cowboys now. This is an interesting spot. I'm not really sure here. I think corner is probably the best bet. Jalen Jones is on the board still. I really like Jalen Jones, I'll be honest. Dude's had some crazy numbers this year. Like, if you look at his numbers this year, I don't know them off the top of my head, but they are crazy. New York, ideally, Kayshon Boutte is on the board here. I think that's one of the most fun fits. Although, maybe you're just drafting Kadarius Toney again. I don't know. You know, I don't know. But Jalen Hyatt, Josh Downs is on the board. Josh Downs is probably the next man up for me at wide receiver, but I don't know if he's worth a first round pick. Ooh. You know, this team, they don't have a ton of holes. Wide receiver is definitely one of them. But they do have a second round pick where they could get a Zay Flowers, Parker Washington, Cedric Tillman's alright, Xavier Hutchinson I like. You know, there's some value down the board. What if we shoot here? Not with Hendon Hooker, but with AR-15, Anthony Richardson, dude. Alright, I wasn't going to do this. I was going to take a wide receiver and call it a day. But Anthony Richardson, he is doing the same thing he was doing at the beginning of the season. He hasn't improved his draft stock any. However, because of circumstances outside of his own control, his draft stock has greatly improved. Hendon Hooker tears his ACL. Tanner McKee is a pocket passer, right? That's only going to have so much value in the NFL these days. Anthony Richardson could be a first-round pick. There could be 4 first-round quarterbacks. If you're confident in Will Levis, Anthony Richardson's not that much worse of a prospect. I just want to put it out there. You know, maybe it doesn't. It probably doesn't happen. I'll be real. It probably doesn't happen. But it's fun to think about. Minnesota here. I think corner is probably the play, and I'm gonna go Garrett Williams. Actually, I really like Garrett Williams. Very versatile as well. Kansas City probably going edge. Honestly, don't even need to look at the needs. The value on the board is just insane. Andre Carter's like 6'7", crazy upside. Nolan Smith has really picked it up this year. Isaiah Foskey's got that high floor. I'm gonna go with Nolan Smith though. Got to show the guy some love. You know, I think BJ Ojolari is technically the highest out of these guys on my board, but you know, good players fall in the draft. Good players fall. And this is another interesting spot. Brian Branch is still on the board. Ooh, that's criminal. That's criminal on my part. Ooh, bad look. You know, we could send him here, but I think the value at edge is just too good to pass up on. And you didn't take a D lineman at 10, so you know, couldn't get Brian Brazee, anyone like that. Give me an edge rusher here. And is there any? No. Give me, this is a team that wants to win now. Maybe they like the really high floor of Isaiah Foskey. Give me Foskey here. Now, Houston Texans, Bryce Young, then Tyree Wilson. I really like those two picks. Let's put you in an interesting spot here. Or maybe you go offensive line? O'Cyrus Torrence is still on the board. He is far and away the best interior. Yeah, give me Torrance here. Far and away the best interior guy in the draft. It's not particularly close. The only guy I think who has a legit chance of going in the first round. So let's take him here, even though technically that's a second round pick. But that is all I've got for you guys today. Who'd I miss? Obviously Brian Branch. Maybe Blake Corum or Jahmyr Gibbs could be in the mix here. But who'd I leave off? What picks did I get wrong? Let me know. See you guys in the